Welcome back to the Fanspeak Network and another episode of Sibling Showdown. That's right, Sibling Showdown is back for one of our last big board drafts before this contest closes. So in just 1 minute, we're going to talk exposures, pushing exposures this last week of drafting, and then get into another big board draft in just 1 minute. That's right. It's Thursday. It's Sibling Showdown. We are back for another Sibling Showdown episode. The big board is what percent, Steve? What do you got left?
Well, we'll see in a second when we try and enter one, but it's like 90 some, I think.
Yeah. So any hypothesis of how long this thing lasts?
I actually think it could be done by Monday.
Really?
The way it's trending. Yeah. I mean,
okay. Go ahead.
It is a double-edged thing because obviously a lot of people have finished. I only have like 6 more to go.
Yeah.
So, that will slow some things down, but I do think Monday, will probably be where it is.
Okay. I was going to say scheduling note. I know Andrew and Justin were going to move their last big board draft. If it's still live Monday, they are going to do their last big board draft Monday. Next Tuesday, of course, at DraftKings draft, tons of overlay there with Andrew and, with Spread and Tyler. And then next Wednesday, if the big board's still open, Steve and I will do another one. If it's not, Steve and I may dive into the DraftKings or Drafters streets next Wednesday to chase that overlay. And of course, the next Thursday, a week from tonight, the NFL draft begins. So in 1 week, we have the NFL draft. All our questions will be answered about all these rookies. And then it'll be BBM and official best ball season, hot best ball summer, whatever you want to call it. Of course, immediately after the draft, it usually is, all the big tournaments or BBM is launched either that Saturday, Sunday, Monday. We'll find out what it is this year. I certainly just hope that Underdog gives us a lot of great advance rate contests like they did last year. I hope they give us the sprint, the marathon, the eliminator, all the other things. I know I finished high in the marathon. You had a eliminator finals. I like having that diversity. And so hopefully they're going to do all of that. It kind of worries me. Are you worried at all since they didn't release anything else outside the low board, big board, bigger board, biggest board? Or do you think they were just waiting? Obviously losing New York was a big deal. Or you think you're just waiting for, obviously the start of the best ball season?
Yeah, I'm guessing it's more that, I know obviously they're trying to push other things as they grow, but they're still bread and butter. And what makes them unique is they do best ball better than anyone else.
Yeah.
So, I know there's going to be a tweak of where we find our best ball teams. I got that email yesterday or whatever.
Right.
But my guess is maybe they didn't want to have more tournaments out there until they did that and took care of that. So
I hope that's all it is. I hope it's not the New York thing. I hope we get just as many diversity of tournaments as we did last year, because it was so great to have all those different advance rates. Of course, I finished 5th in the Bulldog, which was awesome. I love those great advance rate contests. Steve had 16 finals teams and of course finished 4th in this very big board contest. So he's chasing down that top 5 finish again to repeat that. So you're almost done. And we're going to talk about pushing exposure. Let me say hi to our folks in the chat. We certainly appreciate Chiodo Fantasy Football Garage. Both have their own channels. Check them out. Always good to see our guy, Chiodo and Candyman. Of course, Omega King, GMGM. Does seem like the New York is a massive hit for Underdog. Yeah, I agree. And it's just been so weird because we've been used to other pre-draft tournaments, rookies and sophomores, a super flex, something like that, or more of what fills. So I just hope we get as many great advance rate contests. Hope we get all of a marathon, eliminator, sprint, all the other different things, because I certainly want to mix it up. And I think this channel is going to mix it up a lot. So as far as what's coming, we have a best ball subscription coming in the form of a Substack on approximately May 1st. So stay tuned for that. I already gave the draft plan next week. We will have drafts Monday through Wednesday, depending on what fills when. And then Andrew and Justin are going to have a live draft reaction show Thursday that Steve will likely jump on. Steve and I may do a live draft reaction for the second round on Friday. So stay tuned to all that. We'll get into, I need Steve to get into his model phase so we can start getting some Fanspeak merch. You got to let Steve knows his hair good enough tonight,
Yeah.
Mike Robb. We appreciate
Just wasn't
that.
sure.
Yeah. And before we get started, a big thank you to Justin filling in for me last week. Unfortunately, my dog Riggs passed away unexpectedly to a brain tumor last week. It was awful. It is awful. I am very angry, very devastated, not doing well. I wear my feelings on my sleeve. Steve knows that very well. So if you see a little anger, fiery, whatever, apologize in advance. I'm not one that I can hide my feelings. And I will say, if there is a boxer tournament, I will chase that down in memory of my dog Riggs. I finished in 5th in the Bulldog tournament, Steve, appropriate because boxers are in the Bulldog family.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
yeah, going to be playing for Riggs this summer with a heavy heart. But certainly appreciate the people that reached out to me. Certainly appreciate Justin filling in. That's why I haven't been on Sibling Showdown the last 2 weeks. That's why Justin filled in last week. So, but anyways, we are going to power through, use basketball as a distraction right now. And Steve, first, I want to talk before we jump into another big board. Pushing exposures. This last week, 90-some% filled. You have what, like 4 or 5 left, and then whatever we do together, right?
Yeah, I think I have 6 left.
Okay.
But yeah, so home stretch. And like you said,
thank you very much, Omega King. Appreciate that. People were very kind. I appreciate that. Go ahead, Steve.
And like you said, it is, I'm using these drafts and I am more on the other sides, which is helping some of these late risers like a Kyle Williams. I'm going to have a higher percentage on like DK and drafters than I will on DraftKings. I am trying to get more active on these kind of guys, or guys like a Tutu Atwell who got better coach speak, or De'Ami Brown who got better coach speak.
Yeah.
I've taken
Jordan Mason. That was Jordan one that I didn't take enough,
Yeah.
And then now I'm trying to catch up. So yeah, I think this last week, it's like leaning into that, like, oh wow, their draft capital is going to be higher than I thought, like a Kyle Williams or Damian Martinez, or go ahead.
And the biggest one is, of course, Travis Hunter. He's I mean,
we've been on that though from the beginning. Yeah,
we've been on that, but even with his ADP now in like the late 70s, it's like still take him, because if he's a receiver, he should be going 45, 40, something
exactly.
Like that.
Exactly. Absolutely. So yeah, it's these rookies that we feel a little better about, or their draft capital, or in a situation like Travis Hunter, like, yeah, if he goes to the Browns, they're going to use him as a receiver. He is the best receiver in this class. Guys like Damian Martinez, Kyle Williams, I did not get enough of. I know you have. I've been giving you a hard time. Like, Steve, why did you push me to these guys earlier? But it was like those things that you were kind of waiting to catch up on, like, okay, is their draft capital going to be what we think? Because that is kind of an important factor. And that's kind of what it was for those two guys for you, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially, while the receiver class is not super deep, where it's deep is in between 2nd and 4th round talents. And, everyone has their hierarchy. And of course, Chris Sims, having him ranked 2nd. I mean, that's a little extreme, but the reality is he could go near the top of the 2nd round to the Titans and be the 5th, 6th wide receiver taken. And some of that is, of course, the Cam Ward connection if he does go that high. But I mean, he's a realistic 2nd round guy now, and that means a lot. Same with Damian Martinez, like another guy who transferred in. Miami started off the season slow, but he just got more and more buzz. He tested well at the combine. He looked good, and I think you just want to hear in this deep running back class. Is he going to be RB 7 or 8, or is he going to be RB 17? And there's that range. So we feel much better that he's like a 3rd round guy now. So
yeah. Those are the ones I'm kind of trying to catch up on. Rookies, Kyle Williams, Damian Martinez just didn't take enough early, and kind of just want to get whatever I'm drafting now more of. Like you said, I'm still taking Hunter in the 70s, and Jordan Mason was the big like vet that I need. I was already jumping on more of Devontae Adams, Najee Harris. We did shows about that as those things happen, but Jordan Mason is one that's like, once I reacted to it, is like, I was almost too slow to react. So I am trying to like get whatever I can, even if I have to reach a little bit. And I think now it's like ADP is kind of, the Fugazi, it's a Wazi, it's a Woozy, like just go get your guys season, push those exposures. So any other guys before we jump in that you are trying to push besides some of the ones that we mentioned as our key ones?
Well, just we've been speculating on the quarterback news, and
Mhm.
honestly, things have gotten worse for some veterans. So, with between Derek Carr and Aaron Rodgers, and I still think there's, he had the McAfee show today, but Rodgers definitely still could be in the Steelers mix. But yeah, a guy like Jackson Dart is now firmly a first rounder.
Yeah.
Shador, wherever he is could have a very good chance to start, the majority of games this year. So, yeah, I mean, I just think that kind of stuff solidified, and I also think it actually pushes the quarterbacks we do feel really comfortable about, whether it's mid-tier guys like a Brock Purdy or
Yeah.
like a
Oh,
later
I love
guy
that
like,
midsection,
or,
that mid-range, that 8th to 12th round. I'm obsessed.
and
Go
even
ahead.
like a later guy like a Sam Darnold or Geno Smith. Like
Yeah,
we have
for starting this year. Yeah.
we just feel so much better about them because like the last 5 teams, whether it's Russ, whether it's a rookie, whether it's
Mhm.
Aaron, whether it's a rookie, Carr, a rookie, whatever. Those situations are much more, could go either way. So
Yeah.
I just think it's
Quick
solidified.
question
We
from
feel good about.
Chiado Fantasy, and then we will jump in again. Thank you for the condolences, Chiado, as well, and Omega King. Chiado says, "Do you think Nick Chubb is a death in fantasy?" I'm guessing he's a post-draft signing.
Yeah,
But it's so then it'll all just be landing spot.
landing spot. Yeah, I think Nick Chubb and J.K. Dobbins, two guys who've injuries have um, hurt their talent, obviously, but I think, look, if they have to end up doing like the Rico Dowdle and being a clear backup, that's not great. But, for as strong as a rookie class this is, there could be a team that maybe they don't have a pick. Washington, our team, if they don't add a running back, maybe they add J.K. Dobbins, maybe Jacksonville adds Nick Chubb, something like that. So yeah, I mean, at this point, I'm not really taking those guys. I took Dobbins a lot early before free agency, but not really taking those guys, and we'll see
Yeah,
where they
wait to see the
land.
landing spot, and in
Yeah,
the regular best ball draft season, make your move depending on that. It's not like they're going to shoot way up. So,
yeah,
yeah, I agree with you there. One last question before we jump in: thoughts on Mason Taylor? Hearing he could be a sneaky first round or beginning a second round. I mean, yeah, this is a strong tight end class. You've said that from the very beginning. I know you've been high on Mason Taylor. I know you've drafted Mason Taylor. What do you think about his potential landing spot?
yeah. No, there's definitely some buzz that he could sneak into the end of the first round, especially a team, you know, Rams, I think would probably be the highest, but the
Yeah,
Eagles, if they're trading Dallas Goddard,
that's true.
they could go down that road. But yeah, I think early second round is probably makes sense. I think he probably is the third tight end. Arroyo, Fannin, Ferguson are all kind of in that mix as well. But Mason Taylor is the most complete of those guys. He's definitely the most quality inline guy. So that just also helps him see the field early on,
Yeah,
where we've seen with guys like Jatavian Sanders or Chiga Okonkwo, these guys can catch the ball, but they don't see as much of the field because they're not complete tight ends, especially
sure.
early in their careers. So,
Right.
Taylor, I think, the NFL bloodlines are real and legit, and he's a good tight end.
I mean, you and I have both been taking them. What percent
Yeah,
are you at on Taylor?
I'd have to look. I want to
You could
say
look
like
after we start, but I know you had a
I want to say
decent
like
chunk.
15
Yeah,
plus.
that's what I meant. I knew you had a decent chunk of them. So
Yeah.
yes, thumbs up to Taylor. Maybe he's one that we take today. So I pulled this over. I'm going to enter on my phone. I know we have a lot of best ball streams going tonight. So don't know if many people are joining us. And I know a lot of people are already maxed on big
Yeah.
board as well. I mean, you're close to maxing. I'm not maxing big board, but I know that there are a lot of people that are maxed. But if you are interested in joining us, we are going to jump in a couple seconds here. I'm pulling it up on my phone and I will count it down from 5. If you'd like to join us, I'm going to enter in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, entering now. And if you're trying to get in with us, I apologize because the draft is starting soon. I was the last one, so do not know if anybody was trying to get in with us. I apologize, or maybe you jumped in before and you're in with us. I'm going to pull it over now.
Don't enter a Zamboni, but
Okay, let's get to the draft here.
101.
All right, there we go. I don't know. We've had a couple together. So in this one, it does not look like we have anybody we know, any friends and family. Again, I know there's a lot of streams tonight, and I know there's a lot of people that have already maxed. I recognize the name C Ned. If you're in here, let us know. I definitely recognize that name.
Yeah,
But
not a
yeah,
lot of badges in this one, black or
no,
red.
no, no. I usually don't like make a big deal about that, but yeah, I like the Zamboni call. I know Omega King. He's one of the ones. He's maxed. Oh, we are on the clock. That's probably an important thing. That you want to just go chase here. I'm 5% chase. So let's. I mean, I will say I need more Bijan. But you know, when you get the chase opportunity, you do it. So, and I'm at 5%. Yeah, I know Omega King, you're max. I know you're working on the DraftKings streets. Are you in the drafters streets too, Omega King? Let us know if you are. I know Steve is heavily in the drafters streets. Oh, we got our guy Who Hames in here. Always good to see Who Hames. Another guy who puts out a lot of great best ball streams. Check out Who Hames channel. Be sure to sub to it. Be sure to check out all his streams. He's streaming a ton. I know Steve, you've jumped in a couple of his drafts, right? Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So best ball. Hot Basketball Summer is right around the corner. We hope to have a lot of these other streamers on our channel. We'd love to jump on their channel. That's what's always fun. Okay, Omega King, occasionally not as much in the drafters streets, but I know you're in the DraftKings streets for sure. Yeah, and I will say I know we got a lot going on tonight, but if we hit 30 likes, we will do another one. If not, we are going to be taping a mock draft show after this. Steve has been doing mock drafts for over 15 years now, since we've had fanspeak.com. Steve used to cover the Senior Bowl 2012 to 2020. So really quite the scout, which was so appropriate that he finished in 4th in the big board, because he does have a scout's eye for rookies. And so again, he's been doing mock drafts for 15 plus years. So he put out his final NFL mock draft, 3 rounds with trades, up on fanspeak.com. Check it out. I tweeted it today. Steve retweeted it today. And we were doing a show about it tonight, just going through it. Let's walking through the trades, and that'll be up on the channel by tomorrow. So, yeah, Who Hames, drop your link in here for your channel. He says, appreciate the shout, just powering through with my eyes closed. But yeah, drop your link to the channel. See, Omega King read your mock, because I know you had Io Manor to the Cowboys.
Yeah, and I actually think that's one of the better fits for Io Manor, because, as I said, I mean, raw talent.
You've been a little skeptical on Io Manor.
I'm skeptical for his rookie fantasy output, because he's I believe a redshirt sophomore. He's one of the youngest prospects, size, speed guy, but just raw as a route runner and raw with his hands. But going to the Cowboys, where he doesn't have to be the one, he doesn't even necessarily have to be the 2 between like Ferguson and Tolbert. Yeah. Like that's the perfect fit for him. Right. I worry, like, the problem with Leggett last year is he went to a team that tried to make him a thing. And it's not going to work for a guy who's and that was a guy with even more experience, 5th-year senior. So, I like that value. And as a spoiler, partly why I did that was because I did trade up for the Cowboys to trade up for Ashton Genty. And we'll talk about that in the show. But it's not buzzed about a lot, but Jerry's Jerry, and he likes making splashes, and he knows, hey, they took Zeke top 5, now a handful of years ago, but that worked out pretty well for them. And I just wouldn't be surprised if they look to do that again. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Jerry loves the splashes. I mean, the Ashton Genty letter to the Players Tribune was awesome. I mean, I didn't get to read the whole thing. I saw, obviously, the letter, the part of his letter on Twitter that was awesome. Basically, being like, if you want what Saquon the Eagles have, draft me. If you want somebody, to tackle football, if you want a guy that can't tackle, draft me. I mean, I love that confidence. So, I'm been drafting. What percentage Genty do I have? Actually, let's check that out. But I draft Genty any opportunity I can. I think if he gets a good landing spot. Let me go to the 8th or 9th team. Yeah, I need to pull up my exposure separately, but we are coming up here in a minute, Stephen. We have 2 picks to make. So we will be up at 24 and 25. Go ahead. What were you saying? If you highlight that team that took them, it will show you your exposure to them, right? I don't think so. Oh. 10.
Let me see. I'm almost positive no. Oh, wait. Yeah. Yeah, 13%. So, yes, you're right. I mean, Steve, who's doing maxing all these contests, and me, yeah, I should trust you on that. Okay, so we didn't get the Higgins double stack. We are at 24-25, and on the board, Bucky Irving, Tyreek Hill, JSN, McBride, Jacobs, Terry, DJ Moore. You could tell by my exposures. And by the way, Best Ball Overlay is how I see these exposures. bestballoverlay.com. Use code Fanspeak for 25% off. I'll talk about that more in a minute after we make these picks. Steve, I don't have much Bucky. I'm fine with that. Don't really like Tyreek Hill. Always like Terry McLaurin. What do you want to do here?
Do you want to go Bucky and Jacobs and get two running backs?
Not really. I want to do Bucky, but we can talk this through till the end. I have Bucky queued. I have 15% Jacobs, so I don't feel like I have to push that. Again, we're talking about pushing exposures. I'd rather pull somebody else up, like a Marvin here. Yeah, Marvin Harris. I mean, I'm obsessed with DJ Moore. I have a ton of them, but
yeah.
I'll say Marvin, if I just wanted to push exposures, that's what we said we were talking about here. DJ Moore and Terry, I love, and I have 18 and 13%. I mean, do you feel that warm and fuzzy about Marvin to push him up this much?
So,
I mean, it does mix up the chase combos. So let's do it. I mean,
that's absolutely one of the things, because I'm sure some of those other times you have chase, you have them with Moore or Terry.
Oh, I'm sure I have them with more Cherry. I just refreshed it just to see if I can pull up to talk about Best Ball Overlay for a second more. I must need to refresh again, because usually you can see, okay, I drafted Chase, or I drafted Bucky. Okay, who have I drafted? And you can see the combination. That was key for me last year. So again, Best Ball Overlay lets you see your exposures, lets you see how much you spent on these guys, lets you see your combinations, and then, excuse me, obviously lets you see your correlations, team correlations. Once I draft a quarterback, I can see the team correlations. Once the schedule comes out, you get to see, basically the week 15, 16, 17 correlations as well. So very key. If you have a big portfolio, I highly recommend Best Ball Overlay. It is code Fanspeak for 25% off. Definitely check it out, especially in this main drafting season. Okay, so DJ Moore isn't gone yet, but we go Bucky, Marvin, which I don't think is a combination I have much with Chase, so I do like that. And then it goes Terry, Tyreek, Trey McBride.
Yeah. And so the thing I'll say about Marvin is, look, I know everyone wants to anoint Neighbors, and Neighbors had a great year, and even Young and I'm sorry, Thomas and McConkey are going higher than Marvin, but Marvin Harrison still had a very good rookie year, 800 plus yards, 8 touchdowns. He easily could grow into the second year and take off, have a 1,200-1,500 yard type season. He's already kind of a touchdown guy. If those 8 become 10 or 12, we're talking legitimate upside here. And he's honestly been one of the reasons why I take less Trey McBride, just because, not that I think McBride's going anywhere, but would it shock me if 20 of McBride's targets suddenly become Harrison targets next year? No, not at all.
Yeah. No, so you're basically expecting a second year further leap out of Harrison.
Yeah, I mean,
obviously, he was the number 1 rated going into last year.
Yeah, I mean, look, CeeDee Lamb had about an 800 yard rookie year.
Oh, really? Okay, I didn't really.
Yeah.
I did not realize that.
Look, I mean, we definitely get. I think there's only been. I mean, there were 3 last year. 3 last year. I think there's only been like 6 or 7 1,000-yard rookie receivers in the last 6 years. It's not 3 last.
And we have been spoiled with the rookie receiver classes these last several years too. Last 5 or 6 years has been insane. Let me just say a quick hi to our guy Jamie. Always good to see Jamie. Hey, all you great people. Always good to see Jamie in chat. Thank you so much for joining us. All right, Steve. Anything anything you're seeing in this draft that of note? Brees did not fall as much as I thought on this one. He's been falling more. And DJ Moore fell all the way to 33.
I mean, the interesting is Jaden going as QB2 above Lamar, and just that high.
Yeah,
wasn't
because
able
it
to put
really
that
has
out.
been like pretty solidly the elite quarterbacks going more in the fourth. And, Jaden's usually like the third. It varies,
Yeah.
obviously. And again, we talked about it. Like we're pushing exposures. That's why we pulled Marvin Harrison up to 25. Other people are doing the same. So,
Mhm.
that probably is a really good area at pick 60 to get like Debo, in a different type of stack with Jaden. So yeah, I don't mind it. I totally get it. Again, right now, nothing really surprises me because I do believe this is the time of year where we're all pushing our exposures where we want. So totally agree with it. Where did you end up, speaking of, on these elite quarterbacks? As we see, Lamar just goes as a third. Hurts has been actually falling to the fifth
Yeah.
sometimes. Where
Right now,
where do you have percentage wise on the
right
field?
now, Hurts, I have the highest at 10.
Okay.
I believe both Jaden and Allen are at 8%, and Lamar's at 7%.
Okay, that was my goal, is to be kind of with the field or slightly over with them. I don't think I totally accomplished that. Let me just pull up another tab to check that. Farron Rogers retires. That's gonna be a bummer. Just saw 22% of that. Whoops. Yeah, I'm at Lamar. I'm at Hertz 10, Lamar 10. Oh, I did accomplish it. Okay, I thought I didn't. My goal was to get like 8 to 10 on all the elites, because I do love that. We've talked about it on separate shows, because we do a strategy show. We've talked about it many times in live drafts. I'm absolutely obsessed with like getting at least 2 quarterbacks in that like 8 to 12, round 7 through 12 range. And so, there's a lot I like there. Or, in the case where we have coming up, if we have Burrow and it falls to us, I like that too. So yeah, I have, let's see, 11% Burrow. And then of the 4 elites, I have 10% Hertz, 10% Lamar, 10% Allen, and 8.5% Jaden. So I actually did what I said I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So I'm happy about that. Oh, we got the disbanded Brotherhood Dot. Good to see you. And then I'll answer Jamie's question in just 1 minute. Let me pull over this so we can get ready to make our picks here. We are 1 pick away as of now. Burrow is still on the board. Did this person draft Higgins though? No. So hopefully, okay. So we got Burrow. What else do you want to do? Let's just cue him and talk it through here to give us some time. At the top is, of course, the Dunze, Metcalf, Tet, Mixon, Godwin. I mean, talking about pushing exposures, I need more. Well, I actually did a good job of pushing it. I was down. I was in like the under, right around the field, and I have pushed it to 11. But I wouldn't hate pushing him, quite honestly. Or is there something else you want to do?
I think I'd do. I mean, I'm fine with DK if you want to push that up a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm low on DK.
But I would have been fine with Rome as well.
Is there any? I mean, we didn't, obviously Hampton just went. That would be the one. I guess that we'll be coming back up at, let's see, 72, 73. Yeah, I guess somebody in here should fall. I'd like to, there's no guarantees. It depends on the room, but let's say DK. So yeah, so we start 1-1-3. Joe Burrow, Bucky Irving, Jamar Chase, Marvin Harrison pulled up for a different combo, and DK Metcalf. So I like that I definitely have a different combo here than I typically have with Chase and Burrow. So that's fun. But yeah, I was just thinking, like, do we want to pull one of those running backs up? But yeah, I think we definitely, hopefully one of the ones we like is still there. Okay. Omega King says, I know they are planning on changing it. What is that in regards to? I'm trying to think I'm trying to think what we were just talking about. Omega King, drop in it was obviously something we were just talking about, and what were they planning on changing? Because I want to know. In the meantime, question for you guys from Jamie. There it is. It's to this. Whoa. You could tell my brain is not firing on all cylinders yet. I'll get back there at some point. Question for you guys. Did Underdog change their setup? I'm in a slow draft, but it's different now. Can't find my active slow draft. Yeah, they sent an email out. Yeah. Omega King says, I know they're planning on changing it, replying to Jamie. So thank you, Omega King. And good question, Jamie. Yeah, they did. They sent an email out about basically where your active drafts are, basically, right?
Yeah.
Okay. It's just like it's just renamed on, and I guess in a different place. So yeah,
I just checked mine. Mine looks the same, but they might not push it to
Android yet.
Yeah, Galaxy phones.
But yeah, no, and you had said like you wondered if like them not releasing more tournaments. Personally think it has a lot to do with the New York thing. And again, I just hope that the New York thing. Obviously, I hope for New Yorkers they get underdog back, but I hope the New York thing doesn't like limit our options, because the optionality we had last summer was absolutely amazing. Yeah, so thank you, Omega King. This brain will get sharper, I promise, as we get into hot basketball summer. Right now, basketball is a much needed distraction for me, but I need to sharpen this brain up. And again, reminder, we have a lot of shows coming up next week, even though as these tournaments close. If Big Board's still live, Andrew and Justin will do their last Big Board Monday. Tuesday, DraftKings, plenty of overlay there. And Spread and Tyler will be in the DraftKings streets as they are every Tuesday. Wednesday, if this contest is filled, Steve and I will get in the DraftKings or Drafters streets on Wednesday. Thursday, it is the NFL draft, what we've all been waiting for. Andrew and Justin are going to do a live reaction show. Steve will jump on. And then Friday, Steve and I may do a live reaction show to the second round, at least, because definitely going to be some fantasy impact players in that round. I hope certainly plenty of running backs that I've been drafting, because I've been drafting a shit ton of these rookie running backs, as I know Steve has as well. So absolutely. I think my favorite thing, Steve created On the Clock mock draft simulator, one of the first mock draft simulators over 12 years. This is our 12th NFL draft. So yeah, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, as every outlet copied that. But we've been running that for over 12 years. And the draft used to be like a really busy time for the mock draft simulator, and we do live and, all that kind of stuff. And now I just care about the NFL draft. I mean, we still have On the Clock mock draft simulator. Check it out if you'd like on the homepage of fanspeak.com. But now I'm just so obsessed to see where these rookies land for our big board exposures, and then to make quick decisions on our rankings, which again, shout out, we will have a best ball subscription around May 1st dropping via Substack. Steve and I will both have rankings up, and it's just, I'm dying to know where these rookies are going, especially these rookie running backs. What are you most excited to see?
Well, hopefully where Cam Scatterboo goes, because I'm at about 40%. But no, I mean, I think, it does matter. Second and third round can be a big difference. You have, last year was maybe a bit of the exception, because you had the third round picks like Quorum and Benson go to just terrible landing spots. I think this year there are more teams that just have at least a moderate landing spot value, if not a really good landing spot. And so a lot of these seconds and thirds will hit. But even a couple of years ago, I've said before, Zach Charbonnet going to the Seahawks. Some people were drafting Charbonnet way too high then, but the reality was that was just a terrible landing spot for the third best back in that class. So hopefully we don't have much of that this Thursday and Friday, but yeah, it really does matter for these particularly second and third round guys. Getting that draft capital can help a lot. Of course, last year we saw Bucky hit later, Tyron Tracy hit later, but we want our guys to get good landing spots.
All right, so there's two good running backs that I was interested in. A lot of them obviously went in this last round, guys that we would be interested in: Najee Harris, Kenneth Walker, Travion Henderson, James Conner, Quinshon Judkins. That was what I was thinking would happen. But with one pick away, we do still have David Montgomery and Caleb Johnson. Okay, there goes David Montgomery. Do you want Caleb Johnson? I know, we don't know where he's going to go. As far as the landing spot is concerned, it could be a little later than we initially anticipated. Do you want to take him here at 78? It's a little before, but we have a long time coming back. So
I would still take Caleb Johnson here. I'm fine with it. I don't mind if we reach a little bit more for like a Pollard, but
well, we could balance it out and get Pollard, or we could go Pearsall here. I do a 15% Pearsall.
What can you highlight receivers real quick?
Yeah, so Pearsall, Pickens, Jacoby Myers. I'm not taking.
We could just take Travis Hunter.
Thank you. We talked about it. Whew. I'm at 23%. Need as much as possible. Thank you for, again, brain isn't sharp. Thank God you thought of that. 23% and adding to it. There we go. Another Travis Hunter share.
I didn't see him go yet, and so I thought he was still there, but I wanted to make sure.
Okay, let me bring up the full board here, and then let me get to a couple comments. Whew. We got two rookies, Caleb Johnson, Travis Hunter at the turn. Whew, that was close. Thank you, Steve, for being sharp on that one. Huhaim says, hoping DK only gets like 95K. If they get 95K, what percent overlay would that be, Steve, or how much?
Oh, it's still, because it's 117,000
Okay.
500, so that's still a pretty massive overlay. I haven't looked as much today to see where it's at. I've just been doing my slows there today, but I thought they were only like 60%, so, or 60,000, a little over that. So 95 might even be pushing it, to be honest, because it's the same sort of thing. I'm almost done on DK. I know probably not as many people are done on DK or almost done, but they offered one bonus, essentially a buy one get one.
Yeah.
But other than that, they haven't really done a lot to push. So
yeah, no, it's going to be really interesting, and I know Huhaim's is in those streets as well as Mega King. Hi from our guy Jamie, GM Megan, Steve, GM and to Huhaim's, and then Steve Huhaim says, "Where can I find Steve's mock?" I'm going to drop that in the chat here in a minute. But fanspeak.com, all our articles currently are on fanspeak.com. Soon, as of May 1st, when we launch our best ball subscription, Substack will have all our best ball articles. So stay tuned for that. Stephen WC, I must have napped during yours. Old people do that. Hysterical. I love a good nap, Stephen WC. So, Steve, who's your top choice? Oh, let me say a quick hi to our guy. Always love to see Felix in the chat. Always good to see Felix. Speaking of DK, former DraftKings Best Ball Millie Maker winner. Hello. Got to shout out Felix. So I guess who he says is 63.6 per thousand full right now. I'm dropping Steve's mock draft into the chat, but again, right now it's on fanspeak.com, the homepage, but just dropped it in chat. Steve Omega King says, who is your all's top choice for the QB for Browns? Who did you mock to the Browns? I know, but
I had them obviously take Travis Hunter too, and then make a trade up back into the first round and grab Shador Sanders. I think it makes sense on
what
a lot
number
of
did you get him at? I have
I believe it was the Tampa Bay pick.
Okay.
So 19. I did, somewhat to like get in front of the Steelers sort of thing. I don't know if they'll have to go up that high.
Yeah.
But I think it's a realistic thing, and it makes a lot of sense, both in maximizing Hunter, maximizing Shador, and just changing the narrative. I mean,
they got to change the narrative. They got to get that
Deshaun
Watson stink off of them. Give the fans something to be happy about.
Sure, Flacco can give you 8. Look, he could give you 8 games. He could give you 16. He could give you a full season. But Kenny Pickett ain't the answer to save the franchise. Even though he might be better than Deshaun Watson.
That would be really fun for Browns fans to have. Travis Hunter, this unicorn, and then get his teammate and Deion's kid, Shador Sanders. That would be a lot of fun. DQ, good to see you. Always good to see you. And in chat, my first year drafting DK doesn't feel as good as underdog. I'm an underdog drafter only because I love the half-point PPR. I feel like that leans to my strengths a little bit more. But I know Steve and others like to diversify amongst the three main sites, Underdog, DraftKings, DK. Do you have a favorite, Steve? Is Underdog still your favorite? I mean, obviously Felix says DK is so much fun. When you win $1 million and take down the tournament, the Millie Maker, I can totally see why DK is your favorite, Felix. But Steve, do you have a favorite?
Yeah, I mean, Underdog overall is still my favorite. Drafters, app, the ability to even do you can do multiple fasts at the same time on Drafters from your phone, which to me is very hard on Underdog, particularly if you have a lot of slows going in your queue as well. And so I've done that before. There's just a lot of ease there. DraftKings, what's nice is, of course, the overlay. They've had overlay every year. It's continuing. Past couple of years, they've offered some of the best bonuses also. I maxed last year, and because of the money back that you got for maxing and some of the promos throughout the year that they gave, I bet I had roughly like 30, 40 drafts essentially for free, maybe even more. They were offering some nice bonuses out last year. So it can help a lot. And that essentially what it made was I was essentially free rolling all my other types of contests on
All
DraftKings.
right. Oops, sorry to interrupt. We are on the clock. 2 picks to make. I was hoping Kyler Murray would fall. I didn't have much of Kyler Murray, and obviously with Marvin Harrison, and so I wanted to kind of bump that exposure. But he goes. So
Yeah.
goes Murray, Ayuk, Aaron Jones. I had queued up Josh Downs, Christian Kirk, Tyler Warren.
Go
Nobody.
Kirk.
You want to go Kirk first?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I will ask, do you want to go Scatterboo? It's your
Just
last
push that
chance.
even. That is
You
true.
do need a third running back.
I mean, we do. We absolutely do. I
And-
mean, when
and
you're at
Mason
49
got-
point, when you're at 49 point, did Mason get taken?
Just scroll down slightly.
No. Or do I push my Mason exposure and just take him?
There's a chance Mason comes back. Scatterboo's not coming back.
There's not much of a chance that Mason comes
Probably
back.
not. And 49% is ridiculous, but let's just-
What do you want to do?
go Scatterboo just for the
Just stay on brand?
yeah.
All right. We're doing it. All right. So we go Kirk, Scatterboo. Damn, now maybe we should have gone Scatterboo, Mason. I mean, I like Christian Kirk, but
No, I like Kirk. And look, I'm guessing you don't have a lot of CJ Stroud. That'd be a good second quarterback.
yeah.
I know you're not a fan, but look, 2 years ago he was great. I know the offensive line questions are real, but the weapon should be better, assuming Kirk can stay healthy.
Yeah. The 49% Scatterboo, we have heavily leaned into that. Did you see the quote from Daniel Jeremiah? Any nervousness about the quote from Daniel Jeremiah that, basically draft analysts love Scatterboo more than the NFL maybe does, and concerns about his longevity, the way he plays, and of course the long speed. It only takes one GM to fall in love. I mean, I hope it's the Washington GM, but what do you think? Any nervousness since we have taken a shitload and you have 40-some%? I'm pushing over 50%.
So, I mean, I'll say two things. One, historically, look, I've said all along, like, I love Cam Scatterboo, but I'm not comping him to Saquon Barkley. I'm comping him to Dave Montgomery, to James Conner. These are third round players. So these types of backs go in the third round routinely. And I just think he's got a much better floor and even the potential ceiling because he's such a good pass catcher as well as he could just be a touchdown hammer. And, look at last year's draft, and granted it was a much weaker class, but Jonathan Brooks coming off an ACL second round, Quorum and Benson. I mean, I like Scatterboo better than both those guys.
Yeah.
Like they had their value, but Benson was not a complete back. And Quorum, he's a little smaller. He himself isn't particularly fast. So I just think Scatterboo is still going to get that kind of capital. He's got the floor. And the other thing is, look at the backs we're comparing him against. Tyron Tracy may not be a fullback. Travis Etienne, probably not a full-time back. Jordan Mason, not a full-time back. Zach Charbonnet, not a full-time back. I still take Tony Pollard ahead of him. I still am going to take Aaron Jones and those types of guys. But he right now where he's going, he might only be a minor value, but he's still likely to be a value.
Right. But do you think, and sorry, I was multitasking during that. Do you think that, are you scared by Daniel Jeremiah's quote that he could go fall all the way to the fourth round, and then we're concerned about draft capital? I mean, I know then we have to analyze the landing spot for our post-draft rankings.
Look, I mean, I'm really not, it is such a deep running back class. I think he could go anywhere from being the 5th running back to the 8th running back, but that could still be in the 3rd round. 10th running back could still be in the 3rd round.
Yeah.
And I just have a harder, and the thing is, because he can do so much, he's likely to return value where even as a 5th rounder, I think he's pushing to see the field some way, shape, or form, whether it's as your touchdown hunter at the goal line, whether it's your 3rd down back catching the ball. A guy like Bashal Tutin or Jaden Blue, they're very unique in what they can do. And if their draft capital isn't high, which I'm definitely not expecting for Blue, they might not see the field at all,
Right.
Because they're not going to fill every role for every team.
Right. So even if it's 3rd round or even God, you don't think that Scadaboo is going to fall to fourth round, even based on
No,
their
but
score.
honestly, even if he did, like
He still
Bucky
offers something.
yeah, Bucky Irving was a fourth rounder. Like I'm not,
Right.
you know.
Right. Let me catch up with chat and then bring over this screen to make our next decision. Stephen WC says a lot of people are thinking Jags could take Genty. I don't think that, but it might cause chaos in the draft. I mean, that's, we all think it's like he's going to the Raiders or the Bears or the Cowboys if he trade up. But yeah, there could be like a surprise team, I mean, I don't think that's out of the range of outcomes. Do you?
Yeah, no, I think the Jags are very much in the mix. I think it's a great way to help an offensive-minded coach, help your offensive identity. And as people said, like in terms of, obviously the positional value isn't near as much, but in terms of just talent, like it's hard to argue after the three, Ward, Carter, and Hunter, it's hard to argue that Genty is in the next in terms of talent.
All right, we're on the clock. I'm going to put Loveland. I mean, I know I have a crap load of Loveland, but I'd be fine anchoring our tight end room with Loveland. How do you feel about that, first of all?
Yeah, no, I'm a big fan of Loveland.
Well, actually, why don't we use the rest of our time to talk this through? I just have a big problem taking, I know we have a Stroud stack, but it's just grosses me out to take Stroud over May when May you don't have to force a stack. Like I think 1-for-1 May is going to outscore, Stroud. And I know like, okay, that's more maybe pivotal in because we're now at 120, like to get May I know that's his, but he was going earlier. I don't know. That's how I feel.
I would take Stroud just because you want to have, look, we don't know who the top quarterbacks are going to be, like, particularly in terms of tournament best ball. Like May for the season, I think May has a much
right. If this was marathon,
chance.
I wouldn't take. Yeah. There's no freaking way I would take Stroud over May. But you're right. You don't know who's going to go off in the best ball playoffs. So fine, I'll take him. I don't like it.
So the thing I want to say about Loveland, he is the better receiving tight end. I think Warren just can do a little bit more. He can be he's Taysom Hill and all that. But I just think Loveland, his upside is Travis Kelce, like big, athletic tight end, runs all the routes, all that. I mean, Tyler Warren, they're both very good. I have them both as like top 15 players. In fact, in the mock, I had them both go in the top 10, including with the team trading up for one of them. And, I just think it's the same thing with the Genty to the Jaguars type thing. If you're looking for impact, certainty, these are the types of guys. They might not be the splashiest positions, but they can make your team make a difference. And are they Brock Bowers? No, of course not. Let's not put anyone in that category. But they could quickly become two of the best tight ends in the league in what they do and what they do well.
Listen, we've seen rookie tight ends finish tight end 1-2 years in a row. It sounds like it would be hard to do that over like Trey McBride, Brock Bowers this year, but crazier, I don't think people thought the rookies were going to outscore Kelce and other guys in years past. I know Kelce was on the decline and all those things, but like, you never know. And so I wouldn't be stunned if we'd get another rookie.
Well, and again, just gain him in the 10th, 11th round. Warren slid a little bit. Usually you take him in the 9th, but that's great value because their chance, sure, they might not outscore every tight end above them, like Bowers did and Laporta did, but if you're getting Warren or Loveland in this late 9 through early 11th round range, and they're outscoring Hawkinson and Kittle, and you're just feeling great.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's what we got with Brock Bowers last year in the, in that 100 range. I mean, this is the same type of setup. Let me go to the chat real quick. Mike Robb says, Tyrone Tracy is the trap of all traps. Yeah. I have 0%. I believe your mock draft, you mocked, was it one of the top 5 running backs to the Giants in the second round, didn't you? Or was it a third round running back?
Go back and look. I'm pretty sure it was third round because the second round I had them taken receiver, but I still haven't taken a very good running back, somebody I'm very high on. And
all right.
And to go to Omega King's point about Loveland versus Warren, I agree. And in the mock, I actually had Loveland go 1 pick ahead of Warren. I think it's going to be
Yeah,
team
no,
choice.
I noticed that you had Loveland one pick ahead of Warren. I thought
And
that was interesting.
I did have Warren go to the Bears because again, Ben Johnson. Two reasons. One, Ben Johnson. They took Sam Laporta. They traded away Hawkinson, took Laporta. Bears could keep Kmet, but they use a lot of Lions use a ton of two tight ends.
Mm-hmm.
We see Brock Wright on the field plenty.
Yeah.
And also Warren is the Taysom Hill type, and we have Ben Johnson creating multiple offensive tackle eligible plays every year. Like, you don't think he's going to want a Tyler Warren type. So
yeah,
if they miss out on Genty, I could see them going tight end and in particular Warren.
Tyler Warren would be so fun to the Bears. Huhaim says, love the mock. And the teams trading back are the teams I think that will be looking to as well. So he agreed with your trade back. So and that's what's fun. You did not just a 1-round mock, you did a 3-round mock with trades. So that makes it super fun. And Mega King says Texans will probably add another wide receiver too. Yeah, I totally agree. And I mean, just being a brotherhood, Mega's hilarious. I mean, that's what you said your whole entire life, right, Steve?
Yeah. Really, she's the funny one.
I have no filter right now, so you may catch a little when I'm unfiltered. I get a little funnier, I think. Steve is definitely the funnier sibling by far. But thank you, Disbanded Brotherhood. I appreciate that. Samson in the third. So you had Samson going in
the Giants? Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. Thank you. I should memorize my brother's mock, and these guys are helping us out. I appreciate it. Okay. We are back on the clock at pick number. Now I put in guys that I want to keep an eye on. So not the time yet. We've got Jaden Higgins that usually doesn't fall this far. Was there like some rumor or something? I have a crap load of Jaden Higgins, but
yeah, I mean, there's been some things like, maybe Kyle Williams goes above him. Maybe Noel goes above him. So, maybe he's no longer wide receiver 5.
I don't love this area of running backs unless you wanted to take like a Samson. Yeah, I mean, you just talked about it. So, all right, we took Higgins, and you want to go? Do you think Martinez falls back to us? I need Martinez. It's at 168.
I would not take him this high. Let's hope he falls back to us.
All right, I'll take Dylan Sampson.
And I'm a big fan of Sampson. And in fact, Mike Renner, I think, has Sampson as his number 2 back, if I am not mistaken.
When he was 3 rookie running backs. I like it. All right, let me bring up the board.
And yeah, I'm just a big fan of Sampson. I think in most years he is the clear number 2 back. I don't think he is in this year, but but Mike Renner, made that call on him. And look, I think he's very talented. I think he's way more talented than Jalen Wright, who was a fine 4th-round pick last year.
I was taking him a lot earlier, but I pumped the brakes on that.
Yeah, I think the thing with the Dolphins, they could very much be a team in rebuild. In some ways, particularly if they move Hill and all that kind of stuff. But I could see them looking for a bigger physical back to replace Mostert, because for as great as Achane is, he's not that between the tackles runner, inside the goal line, all that kind of stuff. So, and they did miss that last year with Mostert being injured and just not looking nearly the same, even when he did come back. And Wright is not that guy. So,
he's more of a speed guy, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Because go ahead.
Again, could be a surprise team for Cam Scadaboo. But there's just a lot of more physical power backs. Damian Martinez, Ollie Gordon, Devin Neal. There's just a lot of guys that could fit that bill. And even later, guys like Mullings or Monangai, so yeah, I could just see them doing something.
Huhaim and Omega King locked in on your mock, locked in right now. Omega King says me and Huhaim are locked in, locking eyes. I like it. I want to talk to Samson. Is this a movie quote or something? I feel like it is.
Sounds familiar, but I can't place it right now.
I feel like it sounds like familiar. Let me know if this is a movie quote, Disbanded. If so, shame on Steve and I for not knowing. Yeah, I queued up the guys that I'm trying to get more of, because and it happened with Jordan. I'm so mad that I shouldn't have taken Christian Kirk. We should have taken Scadaboo to stay on brand and Jordan Mason. I need Jordan Mason. I want on these last drafts to push exposures. I don't care about numbers. I don't care about ADP anymore. I just want my guys. Okay, Half Baked. Yes, I did. I thought I thought it was from a movie. Thank you. Um, Omega King just in the weeds, ready to stay. Slay hot best ball summer. I like it. I like it. All right. We got some movie lines. We're cooking now. We're ready. All right, Steve. So we are at, I'll leave the board up, but we are at 2, 4, 6, 1, heading into our, let's see, 14th and 15th round picks at 168, 169. I don't know. I might just do some reaching there to push some exposures. I don't know. I have stuff queued up already, but any thoughts on that? We don't really have. So we started anchored with Bucky, and then we went 3 rookie running backs: Caleb Johnson, Cam Scatterbo, Dylan Sampson. And then we have 2 rookie receivers, Travis Hunter, Jaden Higgins, and then Colson Loveland tight. And so how many faceless guys do we have? 3, 4, no, 5, 6 with Loveland.
Oh, yeah. I forgot Loveland. Yeah.
So, maybe we go for that, big board winner that had 10 rookies. Let's just go for it, because guess what? I have 2 queued up right now waiting for us to come around.
and honestly, I'm fine doing that. I feel better, obviously, pulling guys up in the 14th, 15th rounds than earlier, because, and similar to what I said about like Scadwin, I kind of feel the same way about Sampson. Like, whatever his landing spot is, whether he's RB 4 or 5 taken or RB 10 take, off the board, I think he can return the value of 146 or whatever it was we got him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There goes rookie Cam Ward, number 1 pick as of about exactly 7 days from now. We're right at 8 p.m.
I love Cam Ward, listening to top 5 receivers. Calvin Ridley, number 1.
Yeah.
Traylon Burks, number 5. Now that could be on the Titans. Traylon Burks could be number 5.
Yeah, that was. I was laughing my ass off at that. And then didn't he say that? And I love Ridley, but didn't he say Ridley was better than AJ Brown?
Yeah. And then Tony Pollard and Spears are like both in the top 5 running backs. And it's like, look,
he knows the assignment. He knows the assignment. Yeah,
exactly. Don't piss anyone off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, he knows what he's supposed to do. Good for him. Good for him. And literally at 8 o'clock, we're almost at the 8 o'clock hour. At 8 o'clock, literally 7 days from now, his name will be called. So, good for him to lean in all the Titans stuff. Okay, we're up in 3 picks. Top of the board is Neil goes, Giddens, Geno Smith, Devontae, Tavion Wicks, Rashad White. We already have Bucky. You know who I want to take. Hopefully he's not gone. So we'll see.
Yeah. No, I'm fine double with having these 2 guys here.
Hopefully VT Adam T doesn't take my guy, because I only have 2 shares of Damian Martinez. Yes. Whoa, they took a rookie running back too. Okay. Whew. I now have 3 shares of Damian Martinez, and we now have Bucky and 4 rookie running backs. But speaking of, can I just take Kyle Williams to push it?
Take Kyle Williams.
Yeah. We're just going to lean into rookies here. We're having fun. Who's having fun? We're having fun. Okay. So we are through 15. We have, what did I say? 8 rookies already. I like it. But, speaking of the guy who, again, you were sweating out, you had 16 finals teams. We kind of saw what rose to the top after Sunday Night Football, and we knew, the big board was very, very live. And obviously you had Amon-Ra in that lineup. And so obviously he helped bring that home to get 4th place, but you easily could have been the 1st place team that everybody was talking about. The 1st place team who you're competing with obviously shot to the top with Pearsall was one of his rookie receivers, right? Because he had a ton of rookie receivers.
Yeah. Pearsall, and he also took Jacob Cowing. He ended up with both 49ers rookies.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so 10 rookies on that team, and it's like Pearsall doesn't really do anything all year, but just absolutely goes nuclear in week 17. All 4 of his receiver scores that counted were rookie receivers. Yeah. What's hysterical is his running back room. It was anchored by Jonathan Taylor, and then it stunk outside of Bucky. So it's like, my point in saying that is we're anchored by Bucky, and then we have all these rookie running backs. Not all have to hit. Believe me, his others did not hit. He probably only had a couple that counted a couple weeks.
Like Ray Davis gave him maybe 2 weeks. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, his running backs were not very helpful to him. It was literally Jonathan Taylor and Bucky Irving.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that's the goal. I'm just saying that like that's how this still can work. So, we got Tim G in chat. Always good to see Tim D. That's crazy. Stephen WC says day 2 is what I'm really ready for. See if I'm cooking or if I'm cooked. That's great.
Exactly.
Who Ames? I like it. Yeah, day 2 is going to be so important for a lot of our round 2, round 3 guys, especially these rookie running backs. I'm just dying to know where these rookie running backs land, and a lot will get answered. I think, at least 2, maybe we get a surprise third in the first round, but we're going to see, as you said, there could be 7 or 8 running backs that go in round 2 and 3, day 2.
Yeah. I definitely think we're getting double digit, at least 10 through 3 rounds.
Okay. So that would be at least 8 if 2 go on Thursday night. Yeah.
And it could even go to 11 to 12. I mean, the talent is there. At some point it becomes need. And also some teams who do have needs, for instance, like Washington, only 2 picks in the first 2 days. Mm-hmm. Steelers, only 2 picks in the first 2 days. Though they've made their signal pretty clear with 9 of their
they have so many 30 visits. Yeah. So. Jonathan,
and 1 or 2 of them are like 4th, 5th round guys like Ollie Gordon, but most of them are, 1st, 2nd round guys.
Yeah. Tim D says Jonathan Taylor really came through in the clutch last year. Yeah. He was a playoff hero. I didn't really have much of him, but I know he certainly helped multiple of your playoff teams, and certainly your big board team emerged to the top. He says, is Ashton Genty just as good a prospect as Bijan was, or does he have an even higher ceiling? I know you are very, very high on him. Why don't you answer this question specifically?
Yeah, so I think if you look at all the running backs going in the first round, particularly the top 10, going, last 10 years, I mean, there's some differences. Christian McCaffrey is his own unicorn, stuff like that. But Saquon, I would say, is at the top. And then I think it's a debate between Genty or Bijan. Bijan is, he's a little bit bigger and probably a little better receiver, though Genty is not weak in that area. But Genty is, to me, it's him or it really is him or Bijan. And I just think that you're just getting a workhorse bell cow running back who just has tremendous contact balance, break tackle ability. He can be a horse you ride. And as we saw last year, is multiple playoff teams went out and got upgrades at the running back position, and it helped them immensely.
Oh, absolutely. I think that's going to be a blueprint for why so many running backs do go. Well, obviously a couple, Genty will go in the top 6. I think it'll be as far as 6, because I don't think people would really let him fall past, like if Raiders don't. I think Raiders, like you said, would take advantage of somebody trading up.
Yeah.
And then I think Hampton goes to, everybody has him mocked to the Broncos, including you, but I think he's going to definitely go day 1, maybe later in the first round. Who knows? Maybe he goes even earlier than that. And then, as you said, 8 others likely go by the 3rd round. Okay, we are back on the clock, and Mike Gesicki is there. We've both been high on Mike Gesicki, and we have a Bengals stack. So this is a no-brainer to me. Easiest pick on the board. Okay, and falling to, what's his, 185 and 192. Okay, one more pick here. We've got a 2572, so really optionality anywhere. Do you have a strong link?
You could do just to have a share and the
I don't have it. Yeah, I don't have it. I haven't, because I just have worried he is like a groom situation, but we have essentially a Brown stack built with Travis Hunter. Let's pair up the teammates. I like that.
Yeah.
And we're really leaning into this rookie thing.
And the other thing I'd say with it is, I do think,
and we feel good about our 2 quarterbacks. I mean, my God, we got Burrow and Stroud. So
and he could be that unique piece where he comes in down the stretch, the last couple games, and maybe gets you a big week or something.
Tim says, great breakdown on Genty. Thank you. Steve is definitely the person to talk to with rookies and prospects and scouting and rookies. Again, he's been doing this for for pretty much 15 years now. And it certainly helped him in his big board 4th place finish. And, you have been very good at calling out which rookies then in landing spots, because that will be immediately when we, put out our rankings post draft and start to write articles and start to put out our stuff for the Best Ball subscription. We are going to quickly adjust to these landing spots and then adjust our rankings and adjust our analysis on that. And you were 2 years ago, immediately that night of the draft, the second night, Sam Laporta goes to the Lions, and you said, this is like the perfect landing spot for Sam Laporta. Iowa tight end factory, goes to an elite landing spot for the Lions. I mean, who are you scared of him not breeding Brock Wright out? No. So, and we both kind of like this Cam Scatterbush shtick of like 40-50% drafted, like 40-50% Sam Laporta, and it paid off immensely. So, I mean, not all the way through the playoffs, but certainly paid off as far as advance rate and everything. And then he went off in the quarterfinals, week 15.
Yeah, it was the semifinals that killed us, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, that definitely hurt. Tim says Burrow's going to break some NFL passing records this year. Prime years, all Burrow pass catchers are going to produce big time payoff. They finally got them all. They made it work. They got the band back together. So yeah, it'll be fun. Oh, we got yeah, and they still have no defense. We got our guy Bruni in here. What do you know? What do you say? Good to see our guy Bruni. Bruni and Andrew were in the streets last night. They will be back in the streets. If Big Board is still live on Monday, they'll be back in the Big Board streets on Monday. So good to see you in here, Bruni. What's our rookie count up to here, Steve? Let me see.
It's high now with Sanders.
So
I think we need 12 more likes to get a second draft. I know it's a lot, but
yeah. So if you're coming in, hit that like button. If we get 30 likes, we will do a second draft. Mike Rob Bruni showing up late, never. LOL. Mike Rob is our resident chat lord, gives Andrew and Justin a hard time, and sometimes Steve and I too, but we love it. Let's see, rookie count: Shador Sanders, Caleb Johnson, Cam Scatterbush, Dylan Sampson, Damian Martinez, Travis Hunter, Jaden Higgins. That's Kyle Williams. That's 8. Colston Loveland 9. Okay, we got to get to 10. I mean, just for just to bring it home. All right, so Steve, we are up in 4 picks. We're at a 3-5-7-2. So I would just say, 3-6-8-3, one more running back, one more receiver, one more tight end. We've kind of kept a balanced build throughout, don't you think?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so we're obviously done at quarterback, and it's kind of like dealer's choice here with these 2 picks coming up, and then just take whatever is kind of left for the last pick. So at the top of the board, did I bring the right thing up? Yes. At the top of the board, Rashad Smith, Adonai Mitchell, Dalton Schultz, Amari Cooper, Will Shipley, Mike Williams, Juwan Johnson, Jackson. Well, we don't care about that. Tyler Higbee, Mostert, Lloyd. Yeah. And I don't love this 6th running back. Do you want to do Shipley?
Could do Shipley. I was going to mention a name for you to pull up that I'm sure you have nothing on.
Okay. And
so do you want to do Schultz and this running back?
Oh, that's right. We could do obviously Schultz for the stack. That makes sense. Okay, so who were you going to say to
Khalil Herbert?
Why?
I think he's one. I think he's one of the best contingent backs there are. And
you don't think the Colts draft somebody?
I think they are much less likely. They have so many more needs at basically every other position.
I know I drafted Khalil Herbert before. Oh, wait. All right. Well, let's take Schultz first.
Okay.
Uh-oh. Okay. Let's take Schultz first. And then we're done at tight end. And then what the hell? Okay. I redid the thing. All right. So you would be fine with the running back room: Bucky Irving, Caleb Johnson, Cam Scatterbush, Dylan Sampson, Damian Martinez, and just a contingent guy. I mean Shipley is too, but at least he might get some pass catching stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, Herbert has served as a good number 2 back. His best
not last year. He looked like ass with the Bengals.
Yeah, I mean, he was also banged up. But you look at previous years on a terrible Chicago offense.
I listened to you. I know I've taken a share of him before. I thought I updated my exposures, but I'm almost positive you made me take one other share.
I know I've tried before. I can't remember if I got it home.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So let's bring the board back up. We are down to our last pick, which will be the last pick of the draft here at pick 240. And it'll be a receiver because we have 3673. See, disbanded brotherhood thinks I'm funny. He agrees with me. He was ass.
Yeah, he was bad last year, but previous years he was actually really good for a number two back. He was always miscast to ever become like a starter. But as a committee guy, number two guy, you know, I think he's very strong. And again, that was on a terrible Bears team, as Bruni well knows. And he would go to a much better Colts offensive line and just total team. So, if Taylor misses 3 games like he did last year, could be really good.
That's true. Okay. All right. We did it. We got him. We got Khalil Herbert as our 6th running back, and we have 4 rookie running backs. Tim D appreciates the stats and breakdown, Steve. I mean, Steve is your guy for stats. He's like a sports encyclopedia up there in the brain. Steven says, I want to say I take Genty, and he does look great. He was used a lot last year at Boise State, and when he played a great team like Penn State, so he didn't have a good game against Penn State.
So
do those things concern you?
If you look at his yards per carry, he did not have a good game against Penn State, but he still broke about 20 tackles in that game. And that's not an exaggeration. I can't remember the exact number off the top of my head, but he broke a ridiculous number of tackles. It's just Boise State, their offensive line and just total team was just so outmatched by Penn State. And we sometimes we see that in the NFL when you face an elite team, and you can't do anything, and whoever we think the number one defense will be this year, maybe if he's on a bad offense, he struggles. But I think week in, week out, there's so much parity. He will find holes. He will find opportunity. And he might have some games where his yards per carry aren't great, whatnot. But I just think overall his talent, to me, he did not look bad against Penn State. It's just his team did. Like the fact that he was breaking so many tackles at or behind the line of scrimmage, and that he still managed 100+ yards is honestly impressive given the level of competition difference between those two teams. My point is he just won't see that level of gap really at the NFL level.
Yeah. No, that's fair. I think that's fair.
And I will say, yes, like total usage is a concern, and that's a long-term concern. Sometimes it hits for guys, sometimes it doesn't. That's more like second contract. These first couple of years in terms of best ball, I'm going to have no worries taking him.
Stephen WC says that's what I think. He is good. I'm so excited to see him in the NFL. Genty Disbanded says Genty is going to produce RB1 numbers. I agree. And I think like whether it's with the Raiders and Chip Kelly, or if it's with the Bears and Ben Johnson, or if it's with Cowboys and that offense, I just think it's very unlikely he gets a weird landing spot. Like we talked about potentially the Jaguars. There could be like a wild card. There could be
I think Jaguars would be a plus. Jets would be the one I'd have some concern with.
Oh yeah. No, that would be bad.
With potentially Fields. And
did you hear? I mean, I know people hate Aaron Rodgers, but did you hear the way they handled that? I mean, you make him fly across country. I mean, you can feel however you feel about Aaron Rodgers. You make a guy fly cross country, and then basically you're like, so what statement do you want to release?
Give 15 minutes.
Give you 15 minutes. Steve, let's lean into the 10 rookie shtick here. You want to do Savion Williams?
Yeah, Savion Williams or Torrey Horton. He's another guy who could sneak into the 3rd round.
He's Maryland guy, right?
No, that's Ty Felton. Torrey Horton is Colorado State.
I had the first letter right. Okay, he's Colorado State.
Yeah.
So Savion Williams, he could be like the used in the backfield, like kind of like a Cordell Patterson, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think he's a guy, again, I've said it all along, like he is going to be very landing spot dependent, somewhat draft capital, but honestly landing spot dependent. If he goes to Mike McDaniel in the 5th round, that could be better than, going to the Browns in the 2nd round, I mean, that I don't think the Browns are taking him in the 2nd round, but just my point of, I want a creative coach to use Savion Williams.
Omega King, it says good for Aaron Glenn. He wants him to retire. And then we got Chiado. I know I'm going to have a lot of hate, but Genty is not going to be a top 5. I mean, where did Bijan finish his rookie year? I mean, he wasn't really
Oh,
used
definitely
properly.
wasn't top 5. No.
Yeah, because he wasn't used. I mean, the
Yeah,
way we
he
hoped
split
to
the
be
role
used.
with
Yeah.
Algier. And the one thing I was saying, we've talked about this, is you absolutely could have a situation where if Hampton goes to, say, the Broncos, that is such a great landing spot.
Yeah.
A young offense, good coach, Sean Payton, really good offensive line. If it's like Genty to the Jets and Hampton to the Broncos, yeah, I would not be shocked if Hampton ends up being the better fantasy back. Just they're going to have more scoring opportunities,
Right.
So, and if somebody else weird trades up for Genty or something along those lines, yeah, there could be some landing spots that aren't as great, or maybe it is a situation a team just loves him. But they already have a back like the Saints. Like some people will talk about the Boise State connection between Kellen Moore and Genty. Saints are not a great landing spot for Genty because they have Alvin Kamara, and it's not like Kamara is going anywhere.
Well, we finished our draft. Unfortunately, nobody else was able to get in this draft. So let's just check out our team. But I do want to show, again, Best Ball Overlay. Check it out, bestballoverlay.com. Use code Fanspeak, 25% off. Helps you manage the portfolio. I talked about, you seeing the stacks and seeing your exposures and that kind of stuff. You'll see playoff matchups when that comes out in mid-May. But what is so cool, like you can see, okay, who do I have with Joe Burrow? You pull it up and then you can scroll through the different players that you anchored with. Like, you can get to Jamar Chase and see that. But one interesting thing I just saw about like Joe Burrow, or even like Jamar Chase, because he's at the turn. Well, I had 100%, Quinshon Junkins combos with Jamar Chase. Just, I think, you're hitting the same stuff. I don't believe that I have any, let's see, do I have any Bucky? I didn't have any Bucky. And then who did we pulled up Marvin Harrison. I'm almost positive I didn't have any Marvin Harrison. Okay. I did have one. Wait, that's with Dylan Sampson. Whoops.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's the wrong guy. I was like, that's not
right. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I have Marvin Mims. I don't have Marvin Harrison, with Joe Burrow. Or excuse me. Let's go back to Jamar Chase. I went too far. Okay. So Jamar Chase is here. If you look at the guys that we pulled up, I don't believe I have any Marvin Harrison. No. And then I don't believe I have any Bucky. No. And then, other running backs, I had a ton of Quinshon Junkins just because of the way it hits, but I didn't have really, and shockingly, I have 50% Cam Scatterbo, didn't have any Cam Scatterbo with Jamar Chase. I mean, so thank God we pulled that up. I had some Caleb Johnson, but didn't certainly have Damian Martinez or, I had some Dylan Sampson, but I didn't have much Caleb Johnson or Cam Scatterbo. So that's the kind of just combination ownership stuff. So now let's look at the team real quick and we will wrap up here. Unfortunately, we didn't get 30 likes. So we're going to get out here. We're going to tape a show about Steve's mock draft. That'll be up. Check that out on the channel tomorrow. But we really appreciate you guys being in chat with us. It certainly makes the time go by fun. And again, we have a lot of content next week for NFL Draft Week. And then the following week, we will be launching our Best Ball subscription via Substack. So look for that. Lots of exciting things to come. Let's wrap this up, Steve, with our team: 3683, Joe Burrow, CJ Stroud, Shador Sanders, my first share, Bucky Irving, Caleb Johnson, Cam Scatterbo, Dylan Sampson, Damian Martinez, Khalil Herbert, then Jamar Chase stacked with Burrow, Marvin Harrison, DK Metcalf, Travis Hunter stacked with, we hope, Shador Sanders if it follows Steve's mock draft, Christian Kirk stacked with CJ Stroud, Jaden Higgins, Kyle Williams, Savion Williams, Colston Loveland, Mike Gesicki stacked with Joe Burrow, and Dalton Schultz stacked with CJ Stroud. I love the team correlation we got, or the hypothetical potential team correlation, but we leaned into the whole, like, talking about how the last big board winner, as we wrap up, potentially this could be our last big board stream if it doesn't last till next Wednesday. And I don't think it will. That, we wanted to kind of lean into a lot of rookies in this one. And we did get 10 rookies, just like the winner of the big board did, who you were chasing down and when you were in fourth place. I think that's fun. What do you think, Steve?
Yeah, absolutely. And also there is some, some of these rookies, particularly all those rookie running backs, teams like the Bengals and Texans could be looking for number 2 backs. So maybe it's not the greatest landing spot, but maybe one of those guys fall there. If
Yeah.
the Browns, Travis Hunter, whether they get Shador or not, they're absolutely looking running back.
Yeah.
Maybe they're taking one of these guys. So we could end up lucking out there a little bit as well.
Yeah.
But just in general, and one of those running backs could be paired with DK with Pittsburgh, so there's just definitely
Oh,
some
sure.
extra team correlation upside with some of these spots as well. And whether we hit it right on the nail or not, I like the heavy rookie draft, and I'm just a big fan of this team because it's balanced. There's a lot of upside with some of these rookies, and just even our anchors. I mean, Chase, Harrison, Bucky, young guys who can produce. And
Absolutely.
Burrow, as the commenter said, like he could be setting passing records this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. No, I really do like this team a lot. Really quick in the chat. Chayoto says, I think Genty over Jonathan Taylor is crazy. I mean, I am taking much more Jonathan Taylor this year, and I love Jonathan Taylor, but I do think, again, we have to see the final landing spot, but I am Genty over Jonathan Taylor, and I assume your rankings are too at this point.
Yeah. I mean,
given that we think it's going to be.
But to me, it's one of those, like, these, you have it in pockets, and Jonathan Taylor is kind of like the last back who I think has RB1 upside.
Right.
Like true RB1
that
upside.
truly could be
sure,
RB1. Yeah.
Something could break right for like a Josh Jacobs or somebody like that. I mean, we saw it a couple years ago, but so yeah, I mean, Derrick Henry could be RB1, Christian McCaffrey could reclaim that title, all that. And those guys are going behind Genty as well. But Genty in the right landing spot could be above Gibbs, especially if Monty doesn't get hurt this year.
Yeah.
And Bijan, like, look, he was fending off more of Tyler Algier, but maybe that doesn't happen. Saquon himself coming off a massive usage year. So yeah, there's just ways for it. And I think Genty is firmly in the mix. Landing spot is absolutely will excite probably him higher than he should go. If you're talking about like odds of, if he goes to Dallas, like he probably would be the third or fourth running back taken clearly. Sure. And like 100%. And yeah, I mean, odds are he doesn't finish top 4. Like, just there's so many good running backs out there. But I think he's safe to finish like top 10, top 8, top 7 even. So
yeah,
that's how I look at it.
Yeah, no, and I can't wait. Again, 1 week from today, we find out. Let's go through these. Appreciate this, Stephen. WC, I enjoy your all shows as well, Bruni and Andrew. We appreciate that, Stephen. Always appreciate you in here. Huhaim says, I think the Texans will take a running back in round 3. I know you agree. Stephen says some of these rookies might take over like Bucky did by midseason. You are Steve-O Speak. What is Steve's name on DK? You are Steve-O Speak across the board?
Yeah, let me just double check real quick. I don't want to give
I thought you were in spreading Tyler's draft the other day, and I thought you're Steve-O Speak.
Yeah, let me bring it up real quick.
I am M Shoup on Underdog and Drafters, and I'm Gibbs 09, my first dog's name on DraftKings. But yeah, you're Steve-O Speak on all 3. Then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Most of my DraftKings, I've done some fast. Most of them have been slow just to catch up.
What Steve Speak on Farmers Only? That was so good. Steve-O Speak. No, Steve-O Speak on all the draft, on all DK drafters Underdog. That's hysterical. And then to me, the bottom line for these rookie running backs and wide receivers are the landing spots. Yeah, 100%.
100%. And what I want to say is, yeah, we could, after the draft, but 10 days from now, when the BBM launches and all that, we could be totally different on some of these guys. If Caleb Johnson falls and he gets a terrible landing spot, we're not taking him anywhere near the 70s again.
Right.
But I think he's the 5th or 6th running back. Hopefully that's the thing. I mean, it could be Dylan Sampson is going in the 60s and 70s because he gets a tremendous landing spot. Damian Martinez could get that amazing landing spot, and he goes from 160s to 90, 80, something like that. So yeah, landing spots can be so important.
Oh no, we got jokes. Steve no speak.
Well, no, I think he was trying for Stephen O Speak, but it's Steve O. Just to know. I hope. I don't care. Bust my balls all you want. I don't care. So no, it's Steve O Speak. like I have highlighted with my name here, my Twitter handle and all that.
Yeah, probably because I always interrupt you and don't let you talk. That would be Steve No Speak if I don't let you talk. Oh,
Yeah.
he's saying that would be the farmers only. Steve No Speak. I like it. I like it. All right, Steve, final thoughts. I can get out of our draft, but final thoughts for the people before we head out. Again, I'll say that we are about to tape a show about Steve's mock draft. It'll be on the channel late tonight, early tomorrow. Check that out. Steve will go through why he has mocked these picks, but your final thoughts for the people.
Yeah, just good luck to everyone as they're finishing up their drafts, whether it's Underdog, Drafters, DraftKings, etc. We'll obviously be back at some point next week, whether it's doing the draft or not.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're going to be talking rookies, landing spots, and it's going to be exciting. And the other thing I'll say is I do think we will get some veteran moves also. Either the draft weekend could be a trade like DeAndre Swift again. It happened a couple of years ago. Could happen again. Could be B-Rob from Washington, or ETN gets moved. If Genty's taken, ETN's not on that team. I'm pretty sure on that. So
yeah.
And tight end like Dallas Goedert, Michael Mayer, Mark Andrews, and some veterans who are still hanging out there. That's probably more in May, because the comp pick formula after early May will change. But yeah, that's where we could see like Amari Cooper, Keenan Allen, Elijah Moore, those types of guys, Chubb, Dobbins, those kind of guys get signed.
Yeah, absolutely. No, this has been fun. Again, fanspeak.com to check out Steve's mock draft, 3-round mock draft with trades. We will have that show up tomorrow at the latest. Check that out. And again, we've got content all next week, whether there is a big board is still live or not. We will have a ton of content next week, some live draft reactions, which will be fun. And that'll take us right into the next week where Best Ball Summer is officially here. We will have a subscription via Substack, both rankings from both of us. Then, by the way, peek behind the curtain as other contests get released, like Marathon or Eliminator. We will have rankings for that as well. Tons of articles, which if you read our articles, those were basically the blueprint of why we both did well last year. So tons of articles and some sub-only shows. So we've got a lot of fun things coming for Hot Best Ball Summer. We appreciate you being here in chat. Hit that like button on the way out. Tell a friend, make sure we're on the road, actually the highway to 1K subs. So be sure to tell a friend, make sure you're subbed, make sure a friend is subbed if they are a best ball fan. We appreciate you being in here tonight, though. Thank you so much. Have a great night, and we will see you next time.